Hey everybody, Dave Schopius here. Welcome to my robot lab. As I've mentioned in other videos, I got this robot unassembled and in boxes from a friend up in New Hampshire a number of months ago, and since then I've been building it, upgrading it, replacing it, and putting it together for him. He just needed a little bit of a hand. Didn't quite know what direction. So in other videos you can see how I've done all this, from mobilizing the tread section to wiring up power in the legs and bringing it up into the torso, mounting the torso, lights, and putting neon in there, and the sound system and everything. You can look at all those in my other videos. But today what we're going to do is I'm moving up into the head section. Because I'm working up here with the collar and eventually the radar and the bubble, I removed the fragile glass neon section, and I will be storing it someplace that is safe, that it's not going to get broken. So that's glass neon, and all it takes is a dink and boom, you got a problem. Those are rare, they're hard to come by, it takes a long time to get them now. They are available from Craig Reinbeck, but they are just a work of art, and they're handmade by one of the artists that work for him, and it just takes a long time, and there's a backlog. So we are going to protect that by taking it out. So I again, you can see how I did that on one of my other videos. I wired it up and mounted it so it can be taken out with 3 bolts and the dialites. Boom, she's out of there. So getting back to what we're doing today and going forward is I'm going to be inspecting this today basically, and trying to figure out what I need to do to get this mounted to the robot so it's easily taken off. Mount the radar section on top of that, and I want to animate that so it turns left and right, kind of spins back and forth. To do that, I've purchased Greg Loge's radar animation kit, and it's a really nice kit. It works really good. It comes with some really good information and a manual how to put it all together, tricks and tips and stuff like that. And it comes with his laser cut, I guess these are laser cut, I don't know how he does this, gear, and 2 gear hubs, smaller gears that'll turn it when they're hooked up to a motor. And he even this guy's great, he even supplies a way to attach it to a motor with set screws and everything. So this is all centered, ready to go, and it fits right in. And he gives you 2 for in case one breaks, or you want to hook up a potentiometer to it in line to give it directional position and speed control. So you need a potentiometer feedback device for that to a microcomputer, which I have. However, and I'll be using these, but I'm not going to be using a potentiometer, so I'll be only using the one. I have a encoder on the bottom of a motor I'm going to buy that will give me feedback and for position and speed. Even though this is a nice setup with his acrylic hub that he put on here, I've got a couple of metal hubs that'll attach right to this bowl pattern that I got from Servo City. I find them to be not better, but more durable. And since I'm building this for another guy, somebody else, I want it to last for forever. So I'm going to take this off and put on a metal hub that actually squeezes down on the shaft. So anyway, he also has bolts and nuts with it. The only thing you're going to have to buy is the 9-inch aluminum Lazy Susan. You can see it here. Get that from, you can get that from Lee Valley, and I'll have that in the notes below this video. Lee Valley, you can use any Lazy Susan, but get a quality Lazy Susan. I put a cheap one in there once on a robot that I did for myself, and it didn't roll too smooth. It was jaggedy and jerky, and so I got a Lee Valley quality 9-inch Lazy Susan bearing, and it runs like glass on BBs. So it's really nice. So that's one of my tips for you. So let's get to looking at what I need to do here. First of all, this collar is a work of art. I'm not sure who built it, but I would put money on Greg Loge, the guy that makes that animation kit over there. This is an old collar, and it has, looks like it's been put to use on a number of robots. But I would bet my bottom dollar that this was never installed on this robot. There's just no way for it to lock down on it or fasten down to it. And the holes that would have been used for it, I don't know if you can see in there, right there, there's a washer that's been glued down. It's way past the fit point, so I don't know. It could have been. But I do know that this thing is filthy. First thing I got to do is wash it. I'm going to put this in the dishwasher, believe it or not. And why not? You know, I'll make sure my heating element is turned off and just give it a good scrub in there. There's a number of issues with the ribs. This, so far, you can see I got a rib broken here. 2, 3. This one is troubling. It's actually up, and there's chunks missing out of it right where she connects, so I'm going to have to glue and clamp that, I think, with maybe some clear epoxy. The rest look pretty good. There is one over here that's broken too, right there. So I'm going to have to weld, I think it's called Weld All 3 is really good for acrylic. It's clear and it actually melts it together. You just make sure the joint is clear and tight, and you touch a needle full of it, like a syringe full of it, right to the joint as you're holding it, and capillary action will suck that adhesive right down in there and weld it together in a matter of minutes. So that's what I'm going to use for these other 3 that I have broken. And this 4th one here in the center, we'll see. Clamp and glue it with 5-minute epoxy. Yes, I guarantee that's from somebody lifting this thing off of here. And then the Lazy Susan, I'll have to figure out how to mount that on here. There's a lot of holes for a lot of different things up there. I'm not sure. This could have been on a number of different robots, so we'll see how it works. This Lazy Susan actually will be way out here, so I'm going to have to cut a spot for the motor to lay on here, to come up through there and attach to the teeth of the bearing over there, the gear bearing. The other thing I got to do is this thing is not level. It's kind of rickety, and that's because some of these ribs extend out through the bottom here, and it kind of teeters on those. So I've got to level those up, smooth those out, and find a way to attach it. I believe I'll be going right through maybe 2 points, one here and one over here. I am actually thinking about just drilling a hole through here and there, big enough for maybe a 1/4 inch bolt. Again, maybe use one of those bolt holes there and there, and drop a bolt in from this side so the head's on top. And I don't know if you can picture what I'm saying, but maybe build a wall, a box around the bolt head with acrylic plate, maybe 1/4 inch, some thick stuff, so it kind of holds the head of the hex nut, hex bolt in there with its sides, and then attach it to the acrylic with that weld-on 3 I talked about, and then pour some 5-minute epoxy over it. So then you'd have the 2 bolts sticking down, straight down with the head up here, welded in, and then the bolts would probably just drop right into the holes I have drilled here. And then a guy could reach in from the inside through the armhole, I don't know if you can see my hand in there, and just get some wing nuts and pass them on for the bottom. But you'd have to be able to reach your hand in here or through the access door here and reach up like that. So we'll see, okay? The idea is when you put the arms on here later on that you're able to do that, or get the arms off first, remove the arm, and then go up and get the head off. So when I build, I always like to make it simple as possible, removable, and able to get inside easily. So sometimes that's not always the best, or always the easiest. So that's what I'm up against. I think what I'll do in this video is concentrate on the collar, attaching it, getting it fixed and cleaned, attaching the radar animation kit and the radar. And for this radar is, again, this is handmade, and it's nice. It looks good. I've never tested these motors inside the sensors, so I need to test those. I don't know what voltage they take. My guess would be 3.3 volts. Those little mini motors like that are usually that. Hopefully they're operational. Again, this is the underside. I have to attach the Lazy Susan to this and make sure the gears mesh up. Shouldn't be a problem. Somebody glued this in here to try to attach it to the robot, and I see Velcro here to try to attach it. I'm a big fan of Velcro in the right situations, but this ain't it. So of course there's the access hole up to the power for the bubble. So and this is all one piece. It doesn't go up and down, it's all glued in there. So this is what I got to work with. This robot will have animation for side to side, but the bubble is not going to go up and down. So that's what we're going to work on this video, okay? Stay tuned, more to come. Oh, here we are. We are not in the robot lab, we are in the kitchen. I have put the collar, the acrylic collar, into the dishwasher. It's been running for about an hour and a half now, and I stopped it before I got to the dry cycle because we don't want to get hot in there and melt anything. But I haven't opened it up yet, so this will be the first time. It might be in pieces in there, we'll see. This is like Geraldo Rivera's opening of Al Capone's vault here. We really don't know what's going to happen in there, so let's give it a shot. It looks like it's in one piece, and yes, I did take an opportunity to wash some dishes. Don't want to run a half-empty load, you know. We are ecologically responsible. So here it is. Oh, it looks like it's sparkling pretty good. Remember how dull and nasty it was? Oh man, yeah, I like it. Look at that reflection. Look at that reflection. I'm loving it. I'm happy. It looks like it's in one piece, and I'm ready to start working on it now. Getting those ribs fixed and putting the bolts through there and locking them in so I can make a drop lock. All right, well, I'm relieved. Good, okay. We'll see you guys back in the lab. All right, I'm not in the computer lab, or the extra bedroom as I like to call it. I'm actually out in the garage where all the dirty work is done. I got the collar out here. Had to figure out a way to anchor the head piece down to the CSS, because I want it resting on the CSS top shelf, not the body of the robot torso. So what I came up with is what I'm doing here is, I think you can maybe get a look at what I'm doing there. Maybe I can zoom in without losing the focus. No, I guess not. Anyway, what that is some acrylic, 3/8 acrylic plate or sheet that I bought from a plastic supply place, and I basically just maybe I can get it through the top here, kind of encase the top of a hex nut. Okay, it's only about a ½ inch tall, and the side pieces are 1 inch, and the shorter pieces that go snug up against the flat side of the hex is like 5/8. So I cut those little tabs out of a piece of acrylic. My bandsaw. There's the piece of acrylic right there. Again, it's just 3/8 inch piece of sheet acrylic I picked up from a plastic supply place around here. Cut them square as I could with the bandsaw, and then I took my drum sander and just put the square on it and spurred them up just a little bit more, just a touch, you know, to get them nice and smooth and clean up the rough edges and square. So that's what I did. I dropped that in there, one on that side and then one on this side, and then I glued it down with some Weldon 3 that I showed earlier in one of my other, I think it was in this video, and a dropper. That's right, I showed it in a different video. But it's just a little dropper here and some Weldon 3. Good stuff. I just put it down there in the square, line everything up. I put the needle around there, and it just sucked it right up into the capillary action, sucked it up right underneath there and on the sides, and now it's nice and hard. And you can see basically what I've done now is I kind of taped up the threads, and what I'm going to do now is take this JB Weld 5-minute epoxy, mix it up, and then pour it in there. I don't want that thing moving or popping out, because this is all going to be covered with the bubble and radar, and I want to be able to reach up underneath from the arm sockets and twirl on a wing nut. So that's my next step, and there's really not much to show. I'm just gonna fill up the top of that fill up that little box to the top of the hole, and then let it set up, and I will be ready to drop it on the robot. Okay, I will be back shortly. Alright, I think I'm going to mix this last batch up now. What I'm going to do is just mix it up on here and use this like a chute and just kind of push it in there into that hole. Don't need much. Just need enough to fill up that little hole inside that box I showed you. I got about the 2 squirts about the size of a quarter here. Maybe $50. US dollar. Because I know there's some Aussies down there in down under land across the Great Pond watching this. So welcome you guys if you are. Y'all are great down there. Anyway, and there's a couple guys over in the UK. Those guys are cool too. Alright, mixing it up. This stuff sets up. It's kind of hot here in Florida today, so it sets up kind of fast. I saved 5 minutes, but it might be quicker. So I'm just gonna, whoop, I don't want it running too fast. You gotta get it in there, line it up like a cement truck, and fill it in. There it is. Okay, I mixed up too much, so let's get that out of there. Whoa. Okay. Didn't make a mess. We're good. That's all there is to it. Now that hopefully, I'm going to make sure my bolt is straight. Hopefully that'll lock the bolt in there now, and everything will be fine. It'll super super structuralize it. Sometimes my mind goes blank. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit there. I got some ribs here that the next thing I'm going to do is, while I'm out here and I got the weld on, I'm just going to hold them together and put this needle right up against the brake. This isn't broken, but I'm going to put the needle right up against the crack, and it'll suck that right in there, and that'll hold it too. So it's a very easy thing to do. Anybody can do it. I'm not going to show it. So I'll see you back in the lab, or the extra bedroom, whatever you want to call it. Okay, back in the bedroom robot lab. Sorry about the camera angle. Hey, this robot's getting so tall now, my tripod won't go up that high, so I have to work something else out. But as you probably have seen, I went ahead and took the tape off the bolts, and it's all ready to go in. We'll see if she drops in there. I've already got 2 holes drilled in the top of the CSS here, and that's where they're going to mount to. And I took the torso off because it was easier to drill the holes. I didn't want to get all those metal shavings in there. So plus it looks better, and I can show you guys what's going on here. So basically it just sits straight down into those holes there, lays flat right on the top of the CSS. I have everything leveled now and straight. They might seem a little bit long to you, but I'm going to appreciate that length. I reach up underneath through the arm or through the vent to get the pieces on here. I have what I'm going to use is a rubber washer, a flat washer, and a wing nut. This is 1/4 inch, and basically the rubber washer will give me a little bit of cushion. So there you go. Now remember, this is going to be the bubble up here and the radar and all that stuff, and I'm going to be reaching up, and that head of that hex bolt is trapped in there by that acrylic box I built and all that epoxy and other stuff. So basically, you don't want to. I don't want to wrench this down too much, or you can see what's already happened over here. It's just tilting up. So it's one of those things where I just want to put this one on snug and put that one on snug, and get on both sides and give them both a little bit. I don't know, I might get rid of that rubber washer. Maybe that's hurting too much. Well, I'll find out later. That's part of the fun of building the robot. you can make changes as you go. So the next step will be to get the radar built, the Lazy Susan, and the gears and the motors, and we'll have fun doing that, okay? So I will see you when that point comes. Bye.